Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we have some great conversation lined up with you. We're talking Alabama sports. It's the Sound of Bama Sports. It's your show, your team. We love to hear from you and love to invite you to get in on the conversation. You can show your support of the show. Give stars at fb.com/stars. Each star represents money earned for the team. The Playbook today, DC joins us to talk Bama, Saban, Bama, and the NFL draft. George Teasy said he don't ever want to talk about the NFL draft. We talk about it because we have so many Bama guys and Bama connections. Hey, we'll get DC started on the Guardian Cap, UAB, Dilfer, and the Players Association. We'll also highlight Nate Oats keeps it rolling for the Tide, and DeBoer and the DB swap. We'll talk about that and more. All of those conversations, waiting on you to get in on the conversation, and you can do so at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. So join us. Let us hear from you. Talk to us about what you got going on if you have a different topic. 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. Let us hear from you. All right. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning, DC. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Before we get into the conversation, I want to remind you that this is a day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Undoubtedly, the football gods must want me to rant this week, man. I mean, they just keep giving me these topics that people. It's funny, DC and X. On the Guardian Cap, people think that I should be pro Guardian Cap. That's what I've gotten back. Man, Mark, you played the game. You should be for player safety. I am for player safety. Okay. But where do you stop? I was reading it. One of the reasons the NCAA got started, DC, it says in 1904, 18 deaths and 159 serious injuries happened. In Teddy Roosevelt in 1905 pulled together like Harvard and Princeton and Yale and several other schools and said, y'all need to do something to make this game safer. So this has been an ongoing journey. So much so that people, my point behind that is, where does it stop? Okay, so that, and I am pro safety, but I'm also not a fool. Roger Goodell said, oh, we're going to let them wear the cap so they can be safe. Then he comes right back, DC, and says, hey, we're looking at an 18th game. They're not trying to make it safe for the player safety. That's a PR liability move so that you can't sue them later on. Because, hey, we did everything we could. They chose not to wear. All right, that's number one. Number two is the Players Association. I want players to get some money, but you have to understand there's a way you go about doing it so that everybody can get some. But the way UAB and others are trying to do it, it's just going to – UAB will not be a football program if this process continues. DC, do you know – DC, you run an organization, right?
Right.
Now, not that you ran into this, but if your organization begin to put out more revenue than it brings in, what's the first thing you have to do?
Cut back on the layoffs and cut back on expenses.
Do they understand that employees don't get to dictate to the owners? Anyway, like I said, I'm on a soapbox. I'm trying. Hey, let's talk sports, and we'll come back to all that stuff, DC. But I'll let you talk in case you don't get to talk about it. X and I will be able to talk about it the rest of the week. I'll let you take up either one of those topics, and then we'll spend the rest of the show talking about some of the other stuff.
I'll just tell you, I agree with you 100% on both of those topics, and I can hit them both fairly quickly. The Guardian caps are nothing in me having my legal background. That is just a way to have some type of waiver of immunity of liability. Hey, we've done everything we could possibly do. This is the safest way you could do it. And they do that in one hand while winking at you with the other hand, saying, hey, we're going to make it safer, but let's add another game. It's all about money, Martin. All about money. It's a money grab to get you distracted from the additional liability that they're putting on players by playing more games. And they do it in the pros, they're doing it in the college, to make more money. I've been dealing with, and I know this is a hard thing to say on your show, but I've been dealing with a medical emergency in my family with a situation. And I heard a doctor say this from his very own mouth. We want to think that doctors make the rules here, but in all honesty, family, it's insurance companies. We can only do what it's all about money. We can only do so much because of the insurance companies. When I say that, it relates exactly to what you're talking about. You like to think that the NFL, the NCAA are making rules to help players. They're not really. It's all about the money. It's all about the money, trying to look good to make more money. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. And the other thing on that, DC, really quick, is the male market the male market for the NFL is saturated. I mean, how many of my callers, if I were to say, hey, call up or send right now, and I'll give you, if you will be totally honest and you are tired of NFL or you've already quit watching the NFL, there is a large majority of people who have moved on. And now they moved to college. Now they're getting sick of college because it's beginning to look and feel a lot like the NFL. It would be unbelievable. So the only place that the NFL can grow is in the female market and overseas. Both of those are requiring a softer, gentler version of NFL football. So they're covering their butts on the liability, and then they're expanding to a softer, gentler market. That's why we saw Taylor Swift so much last year. So
anything that distracts you, gets you a backstory. That's why they build up all these backstories to attract other viewers, not the typical male viewer who wants to see a football game. It makes sense, right? That's why they're spending all this money on other stuff.
Yeah. X, were you about to say something?
I mean, you're right. This is how it's going. The NFL has done several things over the last 5 years or so that one has turned off a lot of the male viewership, and so they're still trying to grow it. And you said it, Taylor Swift had no business. It doesn't matter if it was. I know some people are like, "Oh, you're making such a big deal." Oh, it's only. There was no reason for every time something happened in the Chiefs game, Taylor Swift to pop up on the screen. It doesn't matter if it was for 3 seconds at a time. If it's 3 seconds at a time, 15 times a game, that's all you see. Like, show the other fans, show other people that are supporting this team. It's to grow the viewership, and it's taken away from the game that I grew up loving. And I don't even know what it's going to look like, by the time my son, who just came up to me the other day, was like, "Daddy, I want to play football." What's it going to be by the time he gets around to actually playing the game?
Well, and here's the thing, DC. How safe can you make it? When do you stop? When does it become safe enough that you stop changing the game? And I've seen it. And listen, I want to make sure, DC, that I'm sensitive to those who have gone through CTE, and or who have family members who are suffering from potentially concussion based things. And CTE is not diagnosed until you pass away. And so anyone that has CTE right now, they're claiming it, but they don't know that they have it. It can't be diagnosed till you pass away. And in the only sport, DC, that anyone talks about making safer from CTE, concussion injuries, is football. And I'm like, well, what about all the other sports? It's so many other things out there. So we're not gonna get into it any deeper there, DC. I want to get your thoughts on Players Association. You have a very extensive legal background. We can talk about that, and then we're gonna talk about that. I wanted to give you a chance because X and I can dig even deeper on these two issues, if need be, over the next few days. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the Guardian Cap as well as the Player Association and what it could potentially mean for college football. Both of these great sports that we've grown to love are on a collision course for being totally different than what. And I'm fine with change. I love change, but I don't like change for the sake of changing or to appease people while not being faithful to the spirit of the game and to those who have helped you build it. So we'll be back on the other side. We have DC Capstone reporting in on the conversation. You can get in just like Alan, 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are beginning the morning with an early crash in the Lakeview area. This is going to be along Highway 216 at George Road. That's near the Covered Bridge Road interchange. We're not seeing a whole lot of backup there, but be aware of that one. Again, 216 and George Road. No big problems for 2059 drivers, though, if you're traveling from Foster's out to Cottondale, and 69 is in good shape as well. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up.
Townsend Nissan. How do you stay #1 in West Alabama? You do whatever it takes to make you happy. Townsend Nissan, #1 for a reason on Skyland Boulevard.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow trucks, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A good chance of showers this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy today, the high 81. Fair tonight, the low 59. Tomorrow and Thursday, partly to mostly sunny both days and very warm. The high tomorrow 86, the high Thursday at 89. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 67 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the Sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Hey, don't forget about Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value, and the biggest cactus in town. Go check them out for lunch and or dinner. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com. DC, as we were going to break there, we were just talking about the Guardian Cap, and we have Alan that wants to get in on the line with you and X. Alan, you're in on the Alabama One hotline. What's up, man?
Hey, good morning. I've been in the Northwest for a while, so I ain't been in the call lately. But, this is what we're going to do now. We're going to have Taylor Swift sing at all the football games that she goes to. She's going to do as much music as she can, and we're going to have Gabby come down at halftime and put a gymnastics show on also. So we're just going to make sure that everybody gets all the full thing we can. If we're going to do entertainment, they're turning it into something like wrestling. So we're going to do all this. At the end of the game, if you don't happen to win at the end of the season, we're going to give you participation trophies also. So we're just going to make sure everybody is happy all the way around now. If you get too close to the quarterback, we're going to you don't hit him, you're going to hold up. We're going to put red jerseys on them where they won't get hurt now, I'm so sick of these people. It's all about money, and I think they're selling out.
Yeah, DC.
I think Alan hit it on the head. Number one, it's all about money, and number two, it's a sellout. And when he's talking about a sellout, I think he means selling out to peer pressure of other voices in order to appeal to other masses to watch what you're putting on, and that's exactly what's happening in the NFL. And I think it's coming to college, and it's done under the guise of safety. And to be honest, Martin, I think you would agree with this. In the year 2024, football is safer today than it ever has been before. I don't think it's towards that. Look back to when we first started wearing. I know you're not this old, Martin, but when they first started wearing the leather helmets, I mean, get real. If CTE wasn't a thing during the leather helmet days, how in the world did it become a thing in the helmet days? Do you remember how heavy your helmet was that you wore when you were with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Martin?
Absolutely. I can pull it up right now and show you how heavy it is. It took us several days just for our neck to adjust.
Yeah, just to even get your neck to adjust to the weight of it on it. And think about the technology that it is today. We're a much greater place today with players' health safety. And no one, and you brought it up, but no one else is talking about this, Martin. You played the game. You brought this up for a particular reason because you're a player. But no one's talking about the millions of people around the world that are playing the popular sport of soccer. What kind of equipment do they have on?
And that, because what it went from, CTE went from, it is based on you getting concussions. Okay. And now is to the many concussions. And I'm like, that's all soccer is with headers is many blows to the head. And then when they fall, they get hit with an elbow, with a knee. I had two sons that played
Well,
football.
think about.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, just think about UFC and boxing.
I know. That's what I'm saying is,
what is the goal?
To give them a concussion.
A
Rattle their
severe
head so much that they
concussion
can't
where
go
you
forward
lose
anymore.
consciousness.
Yeah. But it's not as popular sport, so it wasn't targeted. And
But that's why
like
I picked soccer. Soccer is a popular sport around the world. What are they wearing?
But this is USA driven, okay?
I know.
This is a United States driven thing, not the rest of the world, okay? I just and like I said, I do not want to minimize anyone who has suffered from CTE or any type of brain injury or any type of memory issue. Listen, I have the guys who played the position before me have issue. They're we know we lost Kevin Turner. We know that we Kerry Good. I've heard other guys. And people go, well, Martin, what if you have a disease somewhere in the future? I can't put it all on football. Lou Gehrig had the Lou Gehrig's disease, and he was a 30-something-year-old baseball player. Do I think blows to the head can expedite potential head injuries? Yeah, but I cannot say that it's based on. There are so many people who have never played football who are beginning to get the same thing that Kevin Turner passed away from, the same thing. And the reason CTE is associated with football is it's the only sport that is getting national coverage. When guys pass away and you think that they had CTE, you test for it. You're not testing anyone else for CTE. It is possible that there are so many criminals and so many people who have bad personalities, who are bad characters, who have memory loss, who have Alzheimer's. If you started testing for CTE, you could end up with the same diagnosis. The reason CTE is so high amongst football players is it's tested on people who you think had it, based on the symptoms they had. And like I said, I'm not belittling them. And I'm not saying, but I cannot be the hypocrite that says, well, I hate football because of this. Because it's because of football, God's blessing, of course, me with the talent to play. And then the resulting of me maximizing that has allowed me to enjoy the life that I have enjoyed. So I pray that I don't go there. I pray that I'm never there. I pray all of those things. But I can't look at the millions of people who start off playing football and the few who make it to the NFL and make this diagnosis that football is the cause of all of this. I can't go there, but maybe there are people who are a lot smarter than I am that they're saying it is so. But anyway, thanks, Alan. Hopefully we will not see a gymnastics meet at halftime or a concert to open up the game, but who knows? Let's get to J-Rob. J-Rob, you're in with X and DC. What's on your mind?
Good morning, fellas. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Hey, now this rule, this guardian cap rule, is not a requirement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, what percentage of these NFL players are going to wear this guardian cap? And because I've heard they don't like it, they're glad to get them off in training camp when it gets over. So, how many do you think is going to wear it?
DC.
That's a good question.
That's a good question, J-Rob. And
I don't think
I'm not making light of this. First of all, okay, I'm chuckling because the reason that they will wear it will either be money driven or political driven. I'm just being honest. I think that's what will happen. It'll be for show, or it'll be for endorsement.
Justin was so funny. I asked Justin what his thoughts were. He said, "I'm not judging, but they're going to lose cool points." And I said, "Justin, that is judging." But it's fair. It was a fair assessment. I don't think a lot of guys will wear them. That's why I say this is a liability move, J-Rob. This is the in. Okay, let's say a guy comes into the league and he start having issues down the road, and he tries to come back and sue the NFL, and the Players Association gets involved, etc. And they go, "But you chose not to wear the Guardian cap, and it was proven that it would reduce concussions." They're covering themselves. I don't think they expect. And there may be some guys. There was a version of this. I forget, a guy from the 49ers used to wear something similar, but the technology on the helmets and stuff were less. Just incorporate this technology into the helmet. Figure out how to incorporate it into the helmet. I just think it makes guys play. It'll have either one or two effects. It'll make guys play softer, or it'll make them play more aggressive. And that's what Tony Perkins had said, that his father thought that the face mask made guys play more aggressive. The improved in technology makes guys play more aggressive. So, because now I'm not worried about it. How is it that rugby plays a similar sport to we do, and do they have the same issues? I've not heard that. I don't know. But thanks, J-Rob. I appreciate it, man.
They don't care over here because it's not as big over here. They don't care and I guarantee that the professional levels over there, they don't test for it.
Yeah. So, and that's the biggest thing. And that we have some uniquely USA issues in a lot of circumstances and issues because of I love our freedom and our democracy, and everybody has an opinion. But we do have a lot of things that are minority driven versus majority, because the minority have the voice, and that's not normally the case. So sometimes things that you think is a bigger issue than it is not as big an issue, but it's covered a lot more. So what's your thoughts on Players Association, DC? Hold on, DC, real quick. Let me read something real quick. The NCAA member-led organization was founded in 1906 to regulate the rules of college sports and protect young athletes. This organization is a Players Association for college athletes. We empower our member athletes by amplifying their voice, providing them with free on-demand support for the key decisions in their lives, and maximizing their income in innovative ways. Sounds like the same organization, just 100 and something years apart. What do you think the biggest difference is between the NCAA and the athletes.org in the long run?
In my opinion, I don't see the difference. I don't see the need, number one, and I don't in a college athletic, and I don't see what it's going to do. I think it's another way to say that it's going to help put guardrails, but it's really not going to put any guardrails up. And the reason I'm saying it, and I know you get tired of hearing this, but the truth is, when you start organizing and you start creating this entity that they're calling it, whatever they call it, player association, whatever it's going to be, it gets into a legality of employee-employer relationships. We've already had a test case that went before the Labor Relations Board out in California. They picked the right place to do it because of the minority views there, and it was one of those things that ran through, and they're going to use it, but it all has to line up with employee-employer. And at that point in time, it becomes a different thing in college athletics. You open up a whole can of worms, a Pandora's box, if you will, of all the issues that take place that can't. It doesn't do anything about putting guardrails up about what we're complaining about in college athletics. It brings a whole nother problems involved, and it's not going to get better for the players. We're going to have less players being able to make money at that point in time. And it has nothing to do with name, image, and likeness. It has to do with employee making money from an employer.
It's going to lead toward pay for play, and we'll talk more about there's a case study of what happens when you give one group of people more money. What's the trickle down effect? I'll talk about that. We'll get a few more thoughts on that. Let DC close out his thoughts on it. We'll be back in just a moment. Hey, listen, thanks for tuning in with us. We're going to get to Nate Oats and DeBoer. These guys are absolutely rolling for the Tide. We'll talk about what that means right here on the Martin Houston Show as we come back from break.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/sound to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/sound and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
The University of West Alabama is issuing a call to action. Earn $50,000 living wage stipend while earning your master's degree and serving as a teacher resident in Project Reach. This teacher residency project seeks passionate individuals for a career change to education. We're looking for dedicated professionals with a bachelor's degree outside of education with a minimum 3.0 GPA. If you've never been certified as a teacher, now's your chance to join this great program. If you live in Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, and surrounding areas, you're the perfect candidate. Specialize in fields like early childhood, special education, or teach subjects such as biology, English, and math. You can inspire students and create a brighter future. The deadline is May 6, 2024. Apply to UWA School of Graduate Studies and select the latest admission date for the summer one semester. We'll handle the rest. To find out more, email your interest to Project Reach at uwa.edu. That's Project Reach at uwa.edu. You'll be contacted by a project leader. And remember, you can earn a $50,000 living wage stipend while earning your master's degree and serving as a teacher resident in Project Reach. Apply today to make that career change. DC, get your thoughts really quick on the Players Association. You know, I get that players want to be paid, and I think that they should have an opportunity to take advantage of name, image, and likeness. But they are college athletes. They are not employees. And when you start doing things like this, and you start getting to a point, there's no money. I tell people all the time, I said, listen, the women, to me, this is on the same boat with the WNBA want to be paid like the NBA. Caitlin Clark is while she's helping women's sports, she's also showing that what people have been saying, if you have a product that people will support, you can get paid. Caitlin Clark will make somewhere this year. Caitlin Clark, an industry by herself for WNBA, will probably make somewhere around $40 million, DC. The entire league last year made $90 million and some change in revenue. And now they want a revenue share out of $90 million, and they're losing money and they're being subsidized. Where do you share from? That's the same thing with this player association. Let's say we wake up tomorrow, DC, and the football guys have said revenue sharing is done. All other aspects of NIL are gone, but we're going to revenue share. How many programs get nothing?
And just go this way. In the state of Alabama, how many football programs do you think make money, Martin, enough to share?
Alabama.
In the state of Alabama.
Alabama and Auburn, probably.
Two. Most likely. Only two. And will Alabama and Auburn share alike? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Absolutely not. You're creating a system that's flawed from the beginning if you do that. So what's going to happen? Do you think if UAB revenue shares, how many years will they be in operation based just on revenue sharing? None. After the first year, they won't be. It won't exist.
And DC, if you look at it, look across the entire country. I mean, that's how it goes across the entire. As big of a state as Florida is, you got Miami, Florida State, Florida, maybe one of the group of 5 schools, maybe UCF.
Yeah, well, UCF makes more money than all of them, but that's not
okay. So UCF,
but that's not on the sports. But that's what I'm saying is where do you pull the money from? Is it just the football? What about all the other athletes and all the other?
No, it has to be. It has to be all the other sports. It has to be all the sports, right?
That's my point.
It has to be. You can't. If you do it just for football, then you're discriminating against all the other sports.
Title IX.
Title IX. That's right.
And what happened at Alabama in football? They made $30-something million. The athletic department lost $14 million or $13 million, somewhere 12 to 14 million. Lost.
So how do you share that loss of $14 million?
And that's the University of Alabama.
Yeah, but do you know how you share that loss of $14 million?
You cut sports.
You do away with programs. People make less money. That's what people don't understand. People make less money.
Yeah, ask California.
Opportunities for people to make money become less.
And listen, I want people to get as good opportunity as they can. I want people to get it. California just implemented a $20 minimum wage for fast food, DC, and they did a report yesterday that said that people are spending less because they have to spend more. All of the prices at the fast food joints in California have gone up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't raise money out of a onion that doesn't produce money. So anyway, we got Pat that wants to be on with us, and then we're going to get to some football and basketball conversation. Pat, you're in with DC and X. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Hey, Martin, I went to a soccer game last night, and I stopped to pick up a hamburger for my son. He's the coach. And anyway, that quarter pounder, 2 McDoubles was $16 and some change. Nothing to drink. And hey, that's unreal in places in some McDonald's how much it's going up. Family of 4 can't afford to go out to eat no more at McDonald's. And hey, that's what people don't understand.
I went to a McDonald's, gave my grandson a 20, and I was going to stand back teaching him how to handle finances. And he went up and he ordered his McNuggets and my combo, a burger combo. And when he was getting ready to walk away, I looked at the guy and I said, "Where's the change?" He said, "Oh, it was $20." I said, "Huh?" I said, "I just spent $10 a meal at McDonald's." So
Yeah. I mean, you can go anywhere else. You could almost go to a sit-down restaurant, you know. But anyway, hey, what I called about is the purity of the sport is dying, Martin, quickly, and I'm very worried. I got friends of mine, season ticket holders, that they're about fed up.
Yeah,
they're just about fed up with things. I mean, I'm talking about people's had tickets for 40 plus years, and they're about fed up. And these are money donors.
Yeah,
and that's where things has come from. Just what y'all said, Dave, about University of Alabama. Well, it looks like football's making a lot of money. Trouble is, football finances golf and all this other crap. And unless we do away with all these other sports, and then we wouldn't have Justin Thomas, you know, but that probably donates back to the school. I'm guessing he does. But what I'm saying is that tennis, track, all of these other things are going to have to be non-existent if we're going to be able to afford to pay for a football team. Do y'all not agree with me?
Absolutely, Pat, and that's the challenge. Thanks, Pat. I got to get to another caller real quick, but great, Pat. You making a great point. Todd, you're in on the same topic. Players Association. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call. You know, once that Pandora's box has been open, like DC says, you know, it's hard to close it back. You know, to me, it started with name, image, and likeness. You know, and it kind of snowballed, and that snowball, you see it's getting bigger and bigger now. Now they want this Players Association. Now they got these helmet protectors. My goodness, man, where is this sport going to be for our grandchildren, Martin? The sport that we love, and you work so hard to train and be at the top and play at the elite level, and when you start entering money into the equation, you know what the Bible says about the love of money. It's the love of the money. It's not the money that's the root of all evil. It's when we love it. It's when it's evil. And man, I'm gonna tell you what, man, people just love that money, and it's sad. It really is sad for our grandchildren and their children for what it's going to be like 25 years down the road, and it seems like it's on a fast track right now. It seems like it's going so much faster to the destruction of the sport and the players, and I don't know, man. It's just truly sad. I don't mean to call up with the bearer of the bad news, but nothing that you guys already don't know. Shoot, I don't know, brother, what's going to be like.
Yeah, DC, I'll let you respond, and then we'll get to.
I agree 100%. I think that where it's headed right now is going to be a sport that our grandkids don't recognize, and that we won't recognize that they're playing. And I think, I hate to say this, and please don't get me wrong, I'm not belittling any injury that comes from playing football. But as Martin said earlier, there's certain technology out there today that we never had that's made the game safer already, and yet people are still being diagnosed with CTE, which can't be determined until the person passes away. And a lot of times what's happening is they're the only ones being tested. So that becomes a prevalent speaking topic, which tries to make everything safer. But I mean, it's not. It's all about appearance and making money and making the sport softer for other people to watch and that sort of thing, which in my opinion is all money driven, has nothing to do with player safety.
Yep. And like DC said, I want those who have CTE, those who have injuries, to be taken care of. I just don't want the hypocrisy of the hypocrites up there leading the charge to tell me they're making these decisions based on player safety. Because if they were, they would cut down on the number of games. If you go back, instead of going up to 18 games, you cut back to 14 games. You just cut out of over a month of practices, and you cut down on 4 games of hits. That'll make it safer. That'll make football safer. if you cut down on the number of games. If you play few games,
but that affects the money.
That
affects the bottom line.
That's my point. Is if your goal is safety, but my point is how safe can you make it? It's like if you want NASCAR to be safer, NASCAR got to a point where they stopped. What did they call them? Restrictor plates.
Yes.
Why aren't they still lowering the restrictor plate? Why aren't they lowering the restrictor plates right now, DC? Why have they got to a point where they have said this is where we're going to stop? After
Because
a few years.
It makes it less exciting for the fans to watch. It becomes something.
It becomes watching traffic. It becomes
it's like
watching traffic
people on the interstate
versus racing.
Right.
I mean that's the whole point. And in
you know what happened when what they found out when the restricted plate racing, Martin, happened? To be honest, they've done so much study. You know why it really stopped? Because what they were trying to do to make the game safer actually made the racing more seriously injuries because it was more wrecks because everyone was running the same speed and it caused congestion and caused more wrecks. That was the issue with racing.
And when you keep improving the equipment and guys keep getting bigger, faster, stronger, guess what they do?
Become to play harder and move more injury. I want to ask you this question. What do you think Reuben Foster's first question would be when he put on one of those helmet protective things, a guardian cap? what Reuben Foster with a guardian cap, is he more safer or less safer for himself and others? Be honest.
I don't.
Be honest.
I just think that he either one or two things. Either he just couldn't play because it would so change his mentality, or he would absolutely annihilate someone.
I think he would annihilate
Reckless
people and hurt himself.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's either one or the other. Yeah. He would either take up his game or lower his game. If he lowers his game against other guys who raise their game, what happens? Guys get hurt. If they both raise their game because they now feel more protected, that's why you don't have as many injuries in rugby, as many injuries in soccer, because there isn't as much equipment. So you can get to a point of no return, and I feel like that's where we're headed in some of these things. Anyway, DC, I didn't plan to spend this much time on it, but the callers responded, and this show is about the Sound of Bama Sports, and it's about what the callers want to talk about. But I do want to hold the fourth quarter to get your thoughts on some Nick Saban, on DeBoer, Saban, and Nate Oats. We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Parts of the area have been experiencing a little rainfall this morning. We also have an early morning accident. This is along Highway 216 before George Road. That's near the Covered Bridge Road interchange in the Lakeview area. Accident there that isn't causing any major backup through the area, but remains a working scene at this point. No big problems for 2059 drivers for the time being. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. Cottondale State Senator Gerald Allen helped push through that law that allows concealed carry of a weapon. Now, Republican Representative Reed Ingram is calling it a bad bill. He's pushing a bill that would instead require someone to be 21 years of age to carry a concealed weapon. They also would have to pass a hunter safety course or get a permit from the sheriff's office. With just 5 days remaining in the session, the bill's passage is unlikely. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Hey, John. Senior year is almost over. I don't have the funds to go to college. I really want to learn a skill like being an electrician, a plumber of heating and air technician. College just isn't for me.
I hear you, Mike. You should think about Skilled Trades of West Alabama. They have a 4-week Jumpstart program starting in June and another program in July. The classes are free for class of 2024 high school grads like us.
Wait, how do we sign up?
It's easy. Go to skilledtradesofwestalabama.com. We can sign up online, and in 4 weeks, we can learn the skills we need to work as a plumber, an electrician, or in HVAC.
What's the website again? SkilledTradesOfWestAlabama.com? I'm going to do it now. This seems like a great pathway to a career without all those tuition bills.
If you're an up-and-coming 2024 or recent high school graduate looking for a career in plumbing, heating, and air, or in other trades in the construction field, go to SkilledTradesOfWestAlabama.com and find out more information about the 4-week Jumpstart program and take your first steps towards a rewarding career.
The Sound of Bama Sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. DC Capstone Report. DC, real quick. Does Trent Dilfer have to make this UAB thing work, or does he go back to the pros? Because no other college will ever hire him, in my opinion.
Man, I think either works or he's back to pros. I agree with you 100%.
All right. X, you had a question for DC?
DC, when we're looking at what Nate Oats has done with getting Grant Nelson back, Mark Sears is still up in the air, the additions of Phylon, and now it seems like we've been predicted to get the big man from Kentucky. How are you feeling about this 2024-2025 version of the Crimson Tide?
Oh, I'm excited, X. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, what Nate Oats has done. I mean, he has not rested very much since coming off the Final Four. I mean, he has hit the ground running. He's fielding in some positions. He knows a lot more than we know, I guess, of what he's been discussed with other players. He's saving those slots out there for Sears to make a comeback. Grant Nelson's already made a comeback, and then he's got probably the best recruiting class we've ever had. I think we're ranked number 2 now. These freshmen are coming in. We got Reitzel to come back. Man, that was great just recruiting Reitzel to come back. And then he's got sounds like he's got the pick of the big man he wants. You got Clifford Morey from Rutgers. You got Oyento from Kentucky, and they have different skill sets. And he's talking to both of them, and I think he's going to get to pick the one that he wants. One, Morey is the big rim protector, less of an offensive threat, and the other one is a big offensive threat, less of a rim protector. But both have advantages. So, I mean, who would have thought Alabama would be in a position to cherry pick, if you will, the best big man available? And I think that's exactly what Nate Oats has done. He's taking this recruiting thing and using every drop of help that he got from the NCAA run to make a great team for next year. And I am excited. I think we're going to be top 5 preseason team next year with this team he's putting together.
DC rapid fire here. Go ahead, X. Go ahead.
And when you look at I just want to throw this out there. Ryan Williams and Jalen Mbakwe. Let's go ahead and build these guys a statue with their recruiting, because they were a huge factor in getting LeBaron Phylon to decommit from Kansas and end up with the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I think that the Phylon, those guys going after him, but I also think that may be a swap where Griffin heads to Kansas and then Phylon decommits, because that was probably rumored that was going to happen. That's where it was trending. So kudos to them. DC, kudos to Nate Oats and his staff. We want to recognize all the other great, staff for unbelievable job.
He's one staff short doing this, right, Martin?
Yes.
He still hasn't filled that one staff, and they've been 2 of them that are working, Murphy and Pannone, working to get these recruits. That's a big plus too.
Yeah, absolutely. So kudos to those guys. On the gridiron, you have DeBoer losing a DB Williard, probably going back to California. Do not contact probably means that somebody out there, if he lands back at home, was meddling and tampering. But either way, loses one, gets one. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think it's one of those situations where Alabama needed depth, needed someone to come in. They tap into a good prospect there at Charlotte. And unfortunate, that when the room gets more crowded, people want to look for themselves about playing time and getting down here at the last window to make that change. And I think, Peyton Woodard makes a change and probably going back out west. Probably, like you said, a little enticement as well. Probably somebody in his head talking to him as well. But I don't think Alabama had a choice. We had to add. We needed depth. We needed play. We needed some people that play in the secondary. So I think Coach DeBoer is doing it. He's knocking it out of the park as well, and who he's been able to keep so far and who he's been able to get.
Yeah, and it's a DB for DB, but it was a corner for safety, and we need corners. So I think that's as much. Now, Williard would have been. He's technically a true freshman, right?
Right.
Let this sink in. DC, do you see these coaches potentially stop letting guys enroll early? Because here's a guy that you lose because if he was coming out of high school, he would at least be on your campus for a year.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Very, very possible. Yeah.
I mean, you have to start thinking about that. You see what I'm saying? Because it's just like, oh. But anyway, hey, DC, what are your thoughts? NFL draft, Nick Saban, DeBoer getting 20 guys drafted between the two of them, 5 offensive guys by DeBoer in the first 3 rounds. The most, either he's a great recruiter or a great coach or both. But he definitely
I think he's both. Yeah, I think it's a great effect for Alabama. Have we lost anything? It doesn't look like we've lost anything with Coach DeBoer. We still come to Alabama to invest in your future by getting in the NFL. It just shows you what Nick Saban did and what you can still do under Coach DeBoer. So I think it's a big positive effect for Alabama in recruiting.
All right, tell them where they can find you, DC.
DCCapstoneReport.com, DC Capstone Report Facebook page. We've been putting up a lot of great content about everything that's going on, breaking news, sharing a lot of different things. So keep looking and watching our website. We appreciate all those that are continue to grow each and every week with more followers. So we thank you for that.
Yep, absolutely. That's DC Capstone Report. He joins us every Tuesday. Man, we can't get to all of it, so we just keep the conversations rolling. We'll pick up a couple of these conversations. X and I'll go a little deeper on DeBoer and Oats and what their roster management looks like. We'll have a Would You Rather Wednesday. Hey, don't forget to go check out Karen Cottingham. Karen Cottingham, she brings DC to us every week. 205-887-4008. This has been the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. We'll be back. I'm sorry. This has been the Harvest Church segment. Sorry, the 2-minute warning. We'll be having Scotty on tomorrow for the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. We'll be back. We'll keep it rolling. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out to everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports.